something once they will be referring it. Recording has been started and I'm sharing my screen, and over there I would first write the expectations of yours from this asset management. People have predicted the name correctly. Good to see that. I just want to know your expectations first of all. What you want to learn from this asset management? So if there would be any gap between what I want to deliver and what you want to learn, then I would try to fill it as much as possible. Can someone tell me what's your expectation? That's fine, perfectly. Whatever you want to. Let's have the interaction. क्या expectations है asset management में आपको? Yes. Some people would be like, sir, we would be typing only. We are not going to speak. Fine, no worries. You are just like me, introverts. क्लास में तो मेरे को चुप करवाना पड़ता है. बैठो बैठो भाई बैठो. इधर तो बुलवाना पड़ता है. निकालो कुछ मुंह में से. No expectations at all or what? Acha, if you have a bit of an idea about what's the asset, what's gonna be this asset management, you can share that as well, huh? What is the actual scenario of assets rather than practical sums? Fine, no worries. We will be absolutely going over there. When it comes to the asset, what do you understand by the asset? If I can ask Mr. Utsav, can you just give me a brief idea about the assets? That's fine. I mean, it's absolutely fine to be wrong, you know. I'm not going to judge you. So one person has said that his expectations is entirely about how the practical things operate. Sir, अब ये theory बियरी sums वम्स वगैरह हो चुका, वो हमें नहीं करना है. हमें पूरा okay, assets can be tangible and it can be intangible in nature too. Good. So some kind of a conceptual learning you people have. Good to see that. Others, what about you? Let's have the interaction. Yeah, do not make it monotonous in nature. I know it's the third lecture after appearing the examination, but let's not make it very monotonous, you know, like this. How we can allocate our funds in buying the assets. Good. So that's more sort of convey the allocation of the resources, and that's gonna be the portfolio management. That also will be a part of the third module. Good to see that. Mr. Mohit, ownership of something, absolutely correct. You are conceptually right. Ownership of something, and you have some expected future cash inflows from that owned asset. Otherwise, what's the meaning of buying that asset? Let me tell you, huh? People call it that when I bought a car, no, that's an asset. Yes, it could be an asset for you for the accounting purpose. But let me tell you, for the personal financial management purpose, it is not an asset for you. If you have bought the car on the EMIs and you are paying the EMIs on that car right now, say 50,000 rupees is your salary and you are paying 15 or 20,000 rupees of EMI on the car, my dear friends, that's a liability on you. That's a depreciable asset. The car is going to lose its value over a period of time. Right now, you have purchased it at 10 lakhs. It's going to lose its value over a period of time. Moreover, you have taken the burden of loans as well. That's not an asset for the purpose of personal financial management. Yes, it was an asset when it comes to the accounting because that's the property owned by you. Pretty much understood. But not an asset for you when it comes to the personal financial management. There has to be future cash inflows expected from that property. If you have purchased that car and you have given that car on a rent, and that car is now earning 15,000 or 20,000 rupees on a monthly basis as a part of the rent from that car, my dear friends, that becomes the asset for you now. People takes the loan at the great interest rates and they They indulge themselves into a permanent loop which does not stop anywhere, taking the debt, paying the installment, again taking the debt, paying the installment, and that's where the people are getting stuck. I would share one book with you. There is a possibility that you people might have read that as well. That's a strong recommendation from my side. Please read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Your definition towards the assets will get changed entirely. That's an assurance from my side. Yes, anyone want to convey something? There are a few other books as well, Intelligent Investors. I'm going to share those books with you. Now, let me tell you, the basic difference between the rich and poor is not the fact that they have the money. No, and one do not have the money. The difference is in the psychology. The difference is in the thinking process. One is constantly trying to build the passive income. I'm using the word intentionally, passive income. The word literally means that you are trying to create the sources of income. Over there, you won't have to put too many efforts now because there is the limitation of the times and effort. You do not have more than 24 hours in a day. Obviously, you will have to do so many other things as well in this 24 hours. We operate constantly in various constraints. Time is one of the biggest constraint we have. You cannot keep yourself indulged into 5 activities at the same time. Obviously, you'll have to focus only in the one activity at one time. But that does not mean that it should stop you from creating the passive income where your efforts are not very much required. Creating those sources of income where your marginal presence is required or your no presence is required is the mentality which rich people carries. And poor people remains in the eternal loop of taking the loan, paying the installments, taking the depreciable assets which loses its value over a period of time. After 10 years, no one is going to give even a penny for that car, especially after the introduction of these electric vehicles. But sir, અમને તો છે ને બુલેટમાં ફટાકડા ફોડતી ફોડતી લેવાની 1.5 લાખ વળીને લઈને મજા આવે જવાની. તો બેટા એમાં વાંધો નથી. તું ફટાકડા વાળી બુલેટ લઈને આટો માર અને સીન સપાટા કર એમાં કોઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ નથી. But thing is, do you have the income sources as well? Those people who have become the billionaires, millionaires, were having that kind of an attitude right since their childhood. Build that attitude. Money is more about the attitude rather than the technical knowledge. You must have seen that all the people, all kinds of degrees and the intellectual stuff, they are indulging themselves, but still they are not making the good amount of money because it's not about the technical knowledge, it's about the attitude and approach at which you are looking at the money. Why there is a situation that the rickshawalas and vada pav walas are earning more than the chartered accountants and company secretaries nowadays? It's about the approach and attitude. Do not keep yourself into a kind of a situation where you have put yourself into a concrete box of likes and dislikes. Once the intellectual knowledge comes to you, then you put yourself into a one bracket and you don't want to go outside that bracket. You don't want to approach the people. You do not want to talk with the people about your plans. You don't want to talk with the people to get the money from some people. You have put yourself into the bracket, the concrete box, where we becomes unapproachable because we have got some technical knowledge. Do not put yourself into this. Try to create the passive sources of income constantly, and that happens only when one builds the network every point of time. Do not hesitate to reach to the people when it comes to the money matters. Do not hesitate to market yourself. Do not hesitate to market your products and services. Do not hesitate to seek the funds from the people from whom you require the funds. So if you read that Rich Dad and Poor Dad, your definition towards the asset will change like anything. That's an assurance from my side. So they create the passive income. As I've given you the example, if you buy the car and if you are keeping it, which is a depreciable asset, losing its value over a period of time, after some time you'll not fetch anything, it's not an asset for you. Rather, it's a liability for you because you have also taken the loan for it. But if the same car is been employed somewhere where from where we are getting the money, where it is generating the monthly source of income, say 10 or 15,000 of rupees, then it becomes the asset because now the cash inflows have started realizing from that car. That's the basic difference between the rich and poor. That's the psychology mentality difference. Another thing is that they try to keep the savings as much as possible. It's been stated by Mr. Bill Gates as well that while you are doing the savings, be pessimistic. Something may go wrong. I should not spend everything right now. Take something out of the saving. Take something out of your total income. That is the part of savings. Now I am writing one equation in front of you. You will be telling me that which equation is true, which equation is psychologically correct in order to grow more. Not that Harshad Mehta wala grow more. In order to grow more, which equation is correct? I am writing it. I have given you two equations. Mathematically, theoretically, it does not matter left hand side, right hand side. But can someone tell me which one is psychologically correct? May I have the interaction in this, please? I hope that's visible to everyone. I hope everyone is listening to me. Which equation looks psychologically correct? Do you feel that there is a difference between the two? Or you are like, no, sir, there is absolutely no difference only between the two? Kanvi says that income minus expense equals to savings. One more fellow has said, Miss Khushi said that, sir, number one is the first correct one. Mr. Utsav is also of the same opinion that the number one is the correct one. What's the difference? Can you explain that to me? What's the difference between the two? What's the difference? You have stated your answers, either one or two, absolutely. But what's the difference between the two? Why you feel that the first one is different from the second one? What's the reason behind it? Very true, Miss Khushi. Save first and remaining amount shall be the expense. So here comes the theory of constraints. The constraint is the expense in this case and the constraint is the savings in this case. Do not make your saving a constraint. Make your expense a constraint. Take some amount of money from your income on a gradual basis. That's the marginal propensity to save. On a gradual basis, take some money out of it. Straight away, if you are earning 50,000 rupees, keep 5,000 rupees aside, as simple as that. If you are earning 1 lakh rupees, take 10,000 rupees, 15,000, whatever the amount you decide, keep that aside. And then whatever is there with you, from that you will be adjusting your expenses. That's the psychological difference between the two. The only problem over here with us is that we follow the second one. We are like, sir, कुछ बचेगा ना तो सेव करेंगे. तो बेटा कुछ नहीं बचेगा, बचाने के लिए उसको पहले बचाना पड़ता है. Then whatever is there, you will be adjusting that to the expenses. Over a time period, your priorities will get changed. Right now, the education would be your priority. After some time, the family would be your priority. After some time, your children would be your priority. After some time, your retirement would be your priority. So every point of time, you would have one or two reasons or so many reasons to spend the money. So at what time you will be actually saving the money? Do not get yourself into a trap where you lose the opportunities to save. And here you become the pessimistic. Pessimistic. Something may go wrong. That's why I need to save. And optimistic in investing. Pessimistic in savings, optimistic in investing. In investing, you feel that yes, whatever is there which I have analyzed, no, will go right after some point of time. You need to be positive, constantly reminding yourself that yes, your analysis is good. You have the faith on the class of assets which you have selected for the investments. Some people will like, कल का है ना देखा जाएगा, सेव करने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो over there become a pessimistic. Think about the tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow something might go wrong. That's why you need to be the pessimistic. When you are investing it, be optimistic. Remain positive that yes, your asset class will fetch some amount of money after some point of time. That's the psychology adopted by the people, and that's the psychological difference, I tell you. And this savings should also take place in a gradual manner. सर रौनक सर ने हमें ना मोटिवेट किया था, तो हमने जाके तुरंत से सेव कर दिया, और फिर इधर से जाते 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 मारवाड़ी की बस में नीचे उतरे और वड़ा पाव खा लिया तो भूल गए. तो वड़ा पाव काइंड वाला मोटिवेशन नहीं चाहिए. इट शुड बी वेरी रेगुलर इन नेचर. इधर से कोई इंस्पायर कर दे, कल जाके किसी ने सेव कर दिया, अरे मैंने मैंने रिलायंस के शेयर ले लिया. भाई रुक रुक, रोज करने की बात है. करे नहीं तो कहीं ना करे, ने करे तो घसी नाखे, એવું કરી નાખે. It's a marginal propensity to save. Marginal economists are constantly trying that the population of the country should have the marginal propensity to save. They must save it gradually. They must do it on regular basis. And let me tell you, even if you do one thing on a regular basis, no, automatically so many things falls into a line and everything will become regular automatically. There was this famous incident when one fellow went to the monk and he said that I am not very regular, I am not very punctual when it comes to the tasks. Many people suffer because of this. What should I do? He said that you will have to put just one stone, you will have to throw that one stone from the window on a daily basis at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m., whatever the time that he had given. If you will be doing that activity, very small kind of an activity on a daily basis for many number of periods, you will become regular in so many other things as well. That's a psychological effect. You become regular in one activity, you become automatically regular in so many other activities too. Save it marginally. Do you know in 2007 and 8 why all the people suffered a lot? So many countries went into the economic slowdown, but India was not very much affected in spite of the fact that we were the emerging economy, because we were having the habit of savings. It's been put into the mindset and the psychology of the Indian children right since the childhood that you'll have to save some amount of money. We people save a lot, but the problem is that we do not know how to invest it, where to invest it. We have been saving in money till now, but what's the value of the money? Over a period of time, money loses its spine. Can you imagine in this demonetization took place? Before that, some of the farmers nearby the area of Morbi were storing their entire wealth in one ઘડા. वो ઘડાની અંદર નાખી દેતા અને જમીનની અંદર ઘડો દાટી દેતા. Now in 1980s, they would have got some amount of money for the crops which they had sold at that time. Say they would have got around 100 rupees at that time. Can you imagine what's the value of that 100 rupees right now in 2020? If they would have saved it in 1990s, say 1 lakh rupees, What's the value of 1 lakh rupees right now? The paper currency loses its value over a period of time. Everyone should be aware about it. It's because of the inflation and various other factors. Government can make you rich and poor by printing the more amount of money. It's in the government's hand that who should be the rich and who should be the poor. When it comes to the printing the currency, do not store your money idle in cash. It must be invested somewhere where the return is being fetched, where it is attracting more and more amount of money over a period of time. पैसा ने खेचे. Keeping the cash idle. સર 1 લાખ રૂપિયા હતા, મારા પપ્પાએ સેવ કરીને રાખ્યા હતા 1990 માં મારા માટે. હવે 1 લાખ રૂપિયામાં રહેવા જા. મારુતિ કારે ઇન્સ્ટોલમેન્ટમાં નહીં આવે. But if you would have invested 1 lakh rupees in 1990, can you imagine what amount of money you would be having in 2020, even if you would have earned 7% of return on it? And if you take the compounding return, that money reaches to the great scale. There is a power of compounding. And because of that power of compounding, you should not keep your savings cash idle. So where we should invest? The moment investment takes into the account, the asset management comes into the picture. So that's the entire background of why we are doing the asset management. Now you are investing this money somewhere. And when you are investing it, you have the hell lot of options. You have the fixed deposits, you have the mutual funds, you have the direct equity shares. You can go to the real estate, you can go to the mutual funds who are operating only in the real estates nowadays. Yes, there are mutual funds which are investing only in the real estates. There is a gold, there are the precious assets, there is a cryptocurrency. What are the pros and cons of it? How do we manage it? What is suitable? What is the most suitable asset for you right now at this stage, right now in a condition and in a situation in which you are operating? What's the most suitable asset class to satisfy your risk appetite? What is the most suitable asset class when it comes to your return expectations? So here comes the goal-based planning in picture. Once you identify the importance of the asset management, and let me tell you, this is applicable to hell everyone, whether you have taken the finance specialization or not. Why you are doing this? Why you are indulging yourself into the entrepreneurial activity? Why you are indulging yourself into any sort of a job or profession? You want to earn the money. And the people who do not understand how to manage the money will be struggling a lot, even though they would have earned some degrees. Whether you have the engineering background or you are belonging to the biology, or you are the astronaut or whomsoever you would be, money management is applicable to everyone. Now asset management comes into the picture, and after the asset management, goal-based planning comes into the picture, because no one can have the daydreams, सर मुझे 20 साल के बाद ये लेना है, तो उसके लिए मैं क्या करूं? कुछ ना करूं, देखा जाएगा 20 साल के बाद मेरी एक्सपोनेंशियली आवक बढ़ेगी, अचानक से मेरे पास पैसे भगवान आएंगे, चमत्कार करेंगे कि वाह 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 दीप तेरे पास पैसे आ गए. कब आएंगे? मैं अभी से क्या करने लगूं? क्या मैं सेव करने लगूं? कितना मुझे को इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा? कितना रिटर्न एक्सपेक्टेशंस लूंगा तब जाके 20 साल के बाद इतने पैसे होंगे? So there would be a goal-based planning. And to do the goal-based planning, we'll have to go first into the practical aspects of time value of money. So I have done the reverse engineering right now. Now let me tell you, time value of money that you have learned in your financial management, which was very theoretical and formula based in nature, I'm not going to tell you like this. It's going to be entirely practical in nature. Every advanced financial management concepts are dependent on some or other parts of the time value of money. Once you understand the time value of money thoroughly, you will be stopped nowhere when it comes to understanding any concept of financial management. Whether it's a business valuation, or establishing the startups, or gathering the sources of money, or investing it somewhere, or understanding what's the options and derivatives, everywhere time value of money will come into the picture. The most important concept people take very easily. I seriously have, the great regret that time value of money is the most underestimated concept. That's the most important one. Once you have understood that, everything becomes so easy for you. Let me just give you a very simple example. Just imagine. Say uh, you are investing 1 lakh rupees, say in 1990. Right now we are there in 2020. Now there is one formula for the compounding interest. Say you are just earning 9% return on that. In 1990s, the FD returns were quite high. Nowadays it's not much. It's around 6 to 7 percentages because of some economic changes and the struggles we face. But in the 1990s, the interest rates were quite high. In 2000s as well, the interest rates were quite high. Specifically, if I tell you about the second regime of the UPA government, Manmohan Singh government, at that time too, the interest rates were quite high. So on an average, if you have a 9% of the return, even on the fixed deposit, let alone the equity, which is the most profitable one, let alone that right now. Just take the example of this 9%. Then can you imagine what amount of money you would have right now? The formula of the compounding interest is the present value in bracket 1 plus r raised to n. So 1 plus r raised to n is nothing but the compounding factor. So r is nothing but the rate of return and n is nothing but the number of years for which the compounding will take place. So equal to 1 lakh multiplied by in bracket 1 plus r. R stands for 0.09, closing the bracket, raised to n would be how many number of years? 30 number of years, right? Let me do this. See, imagine the kind of a difference it has. That money would have been right now lakh 26. Just a second, whether it's right or wrong, I need to check it. Right. So 13 is the compounding we have got here in this case. 30. So 1 lakh would have become 13 to 14 lakhs right now, somewhere near to and somewhere in between, if you would have invested in 1990, just at 9%. If you would have just kept it over there in a fixed deposit, then also it would have earned this much of a money right now. So many a times we come across with the comments of our parents that at that time we used to earn that much. At that time we had bought the asset of 50,000 rupees. At that time we had bought the TV of 10,000 of rupees. Can you imagine if that 10,000 rupees would have been also been there? That would be fetching too much of money right now. There is a time value of money. Money compounds a lot. And the time value of money you realize only if you keep yourself invested for a very long period of time. Can you imagine if you just from 13 lakhs, if you convert it to 40 years, then where the money reaches, say 31 lakhs. So from 13 lakhs to 31 lakhs, it is taking only the 10 years. You start receiving the power of compounding, the benefits of it after some point of time, and the benefits looks like this. After certain extent, you feel like, sir, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं मिल रहा. लेकिन जब से मिलना शुरू करेगा ना, the curve would be exponential like this. Now, can you imagine if I just put 50 years instead of 40 right now, the money will go like anything. It's 74 lakhs, somewhere near to 1 crore of rupees. So you realize the power of compounding only after some point of time. Being a financial advisor, people when comes to me, they like, sir, अभी हमने 2 साल मैंने किया था, लेकिन अभी कुछ मिला नहीं है म्यूचुअल फंड में से, तो निकल जाओ. मैं बोला तू निकल ही जा भाई, तेरे को इन्वेस्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. 2 साल में से म्यूचुअल फंड में से पैसा निकल लेगा, तेरे को क्या बेनिफिट होंगे? पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग यू रियलाइज ओनली यू इन्वेस्ट फॉर क्वाइट अ फ्यू लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. quite a few number of periods. You keep it 60. You can check it how where the money reaches. It goes to 1 crore 76 lakhs. So can you imagine from 50 to 60 how much you are earning? From 74, now if you convert that into 60, it reaches to 1 crore 76 lakhs. That's the power of compounding. And this is just a 9% of the moderate return we have taken. Some of the equity shares have given you the return on CAGR basis of 15 to 20 percentages. Do you know that the CAGR of real Reliance stands around 15 to 20 percentage since the inception of it? So where this money, that's the power of compounding. Understanding that would be the first part in our uh, asset management, and then we'll move to the various assets classes. So I hope that's the introduction. Just let me just show the syllabus that we are going to do. And for your betterment, I have not taken the literal syllabus, whatever was given to me. I have added few more concepts because I feel that students must be aware about that too. So up to this many number of lectures, we would be understanding the time value of money. We would be understanding how to calculate the return on equity. We would be understanding, you know, what are the various ways to identify how much risk appetite you have while investing in the various assets classes. After that, I have added few topics which is not a part of your syllabus, but I feel that it should be served to the students, which is, I would be giving the practical exposure of how to open a demat account, how to operate a demat account where you can store your financial assets, how you can analyze the stocks, whether to purchase or not to purchase, fundamental analysis, technical analysis. I would be giving you the basics about that too. Obviously, this requires a different subject only, but thing is that I want to also give you a bit overview, because once you will be managing your money, at that time you also require a bit of a fundamentals and technical knowledge too related to the various asset classes. You must have the idea about how to analyze the prices by using certain visualizations and charts and everything. Then we would go to the equity, and this is also going to be entirely practical in nature, no theoretical understanding, please. That's done. बहुत हो चुका भैया. इक्विटी का मतलब क्या होता है, इक्विटी शेयर्स क्या होते हैं, क्या बेनिफिट होते हैं, डिसएडवांटेज होते हैं, नहीं. डायरेक्ट जाएंगे एप्लीकेशन में, वहां पे से देखना है कि कैसे ट्रेड करना है. सिमिलरली द बॉन्ड्स, कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड्स, then we will take the mutual funds, various types of the mutual funds. We would go to the applications from where we'll see that, how to invest in the mutual funds, how to take your money back from there, how to identify and evaluate the performance of the mutual funds, how to make a portfolio. And once you make a portfolio, then we would try to see how you will be modifying your portfolio over a period of time. When I say portfolio, that means it's the collection, combination of assets. All the assets putting together is regarded as the portfolio. So how you make the constant changes into it, modifications into it, how you see that whether your objective is getting satisfied or not, how you see that, what is the performance of your portfolio. How to frame the portfolio itself is a gigantic task. That depends on the risk appetite of a person, that depends on the dependency on the person, that depends on the income levels of the person, that depends on how many other factors as well. So all such sort of things with the practical exposure we are going to see. That's going to be the syllabus. And whatever the syllabus where I have read it, that it's the additional one, I have put the notations over there. So these are all the concepts which are added, not a part of the original syllabus, but I feel that students must be aware about it. Okay, so that's it from my side. I hope you are absolutely clear with the basics of finance we have done today. That's the introduction of this entire syllabus and the importance of this subject. Now from the next lecture onwards, we will go to the sessions. We'll be taking the topics one by one. So as a mark of your attendance, please put your enrollment number in the chat box, because मैं अंतर्यामी नहीं हूं, मैंने ज्योतिष शास्त्र नहीं पढ़ा है कि कौन कौन बच्चे प्रेजेंट थे. तो जब मैं वहां पे अटेंडेंस डालूं तो मुझे मालूम पड़ना चाहिए कि ये बच्चे वहां पे थे. अगर आप भूल जाओगे अटेंडेंस डालना, तो उसमें आपका घाटा, मेरा कुछ नहीं जाता, और फिर बड़ा पछताओगे. बेटर टू पुट योर अटेंडेंस राइट नाउ. Okay, once the attendance is done, then you may disperse from the class. Bye bye, take care, sayonara, enjoy the rest of the day. See you all in the next session.